Hello everyone, my name is Robert Ho. In this video, I will show you how to set up, configure, and administer voice over IP system. Students are expected to have some backgrounds of networking knowledge and skills prior to practice on this lab. Let me start with the topology. In the main office, we will have one router, which is CME router, Cisco Unified Call Manager Express. Application is inside the router. Also, we're gonna have one switch. This is a multi-layer switch. In this case, we're gonna use 3560 with 24 ports, two IP phone, 7960s, and two PCs. Okay. First, let me configure the CME routers. In this tutorial, students will learn about router on the stick using sub interfaces. There are two sub interfaces. 10 is for the data and 20 is for the voice. Also, don't forget to write an IP helper address command such as IP helper 192.168.20.254, which is referred to this DHCP server. So let me show you how to configure the first sub interface, the first step, which is sub interface. Enable, show, and run. Okay. Here you're gonna configure the first one is sub interface, which is interface fast Ethernet 0 sub 0.10 encapsulation DOT1Q10 native, which is the data VLAN, and the IP address of that is IP address 192.168.10.1 subnet 255.255.255.0. Then we're gonna configure the second sub interface, which is interface fast Ethernet 0 sub 0.20. Dot 20 represent the VLAN number 20, so encapsulation DOT1Q20 and the IP address 192.168.20.1 subnet 255.255.255.0. So in this configuration, you see that we have two sub interface, which is sub interface 10 and sub interface 20. Make sure that before you do this sub interface, you have to type this command interface fast Ethernet 0 sub 0 and no shutdown, so the sub interface will not go down because the default is down. So you need to write a command called no shutdown. Okay, the next thing is to configure the serial connection. This connection allows between site from the headquarter office to branch office and vice versa. As you can see in the topology here, we have the first router, which is CME router, the main office, and the remote. Okay. So the way you configure the serial or the WAN connection is interface serial 0 sub 0, and you put the IP address is IP address 203.0.113.1 255.255.255.252. The clock rate 128 kilobit per second. Okay. This interface, this serial connection configuration allows to communicate between this side and that side. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna move on to the routing protocol. Uh, Student will use EIGRP routing protocols for WAN connection. So student need to configure routing protocol next. We're gonna use EIGRP, so you're gonna type router EIGRP1 network 192.168.10.0 for your data network, and network 192.168.20.0, this is for your voice network, and network 203.0.113.0 and mask 0.0.0.0.3. Okay, this will configure the routing protocol. As we have many different kind of protocol, such as EIGRP and OSPF. In this case, we're going to use the Cisco proprietary routing protocol, EIGRP. Okay, the next thing, we're going to configure the dial peer, right? Student need to configure a dial peer which allow voice communication between VSEP, between sites. So the command is dial peer voice 1 voip destination parent 20 dot session target IP version 4 203.0.113.0 or .2. Okay, this allows this command helps the network to communicate in the same network of the WAN, the IP address of the WAN. Okay. Destination parent 20.1, the dot is the wildcard because the other extension is 201. So the headquarter can dial 201 extension, 202 extension, or 204 extension. At this moment, make sure you test that the phones and the computer can communicate each other or ping each other. If they don't, please troubleshoot before proceed to the next step. Okay. The next thing that we're gonna configure is telephony services. Okay. Then we're gonna assign directory numbers and the ePhones. The Cisco Call Manager Unified Express application is inside the Cisco operating system. So we need to type this in order to enable the telephony service. Telephony dash services. Maximum ePhone 2 and maximum DN is 2. IP source address is 111.111.11.1.1.2000. Okay. For the telephony services, we're gonna set up the maximum ePhone is 2, maximum DN is 2. Also the IP source address, this is supposed to be 192.168.20.1 and port 2000. The reason that this is the wrong IP because I haven't changed that to that IP address. 192.168.20.1, that is a voice. That is a voice VLAN. And auto assign 1 to 2. Then we need to assign the number for the ePhone 1. So the command is ePhone DN1 number 111 and ePhone DN2 you assign a number 112. The ePhone 1, you need to enter the MAC address. You can find the MAC address by doing ipconfig, and you put the type and the button is 1. That means you put the first button with number 2, and then on the ePhone 2 you do the same thing, assign button 1 with the directory number 1. Okay. So basically this is the configuration for the main router of Cisco Unified Call Manager Express. So now you can try on your packet tracer or in your real equipment. Thank you for watching.